everyone here. Definitely miss the building. Definitely miss, Cowboys Nation. So it's excited to.
From the roar of packed stadiums to the quiet dust of a Texas ranch, this is how Ezekiel Elliott lives his days as an established NFL star. Most fans know Zeke as the explosive running back with the signature "Feed Me" celebration. The workhorse who dominated at Ohio State became a first-round NFL star and helped redefine the modern running back. But away from the lights, there's another side of Ezekiel Elliott that doesn't show up on a stat sheet. Out on his Texas ranch, surrounded by open land, horses, and long stretches of silence, Zeke finds the balance that fuels his edge. It's where discipline replaces hype, where routine replaces noise, and where a superstar reconnects with the grind that got him there in the first place. This is the life of Ezekiel Elliott, built on power, pressure, and purpose, both under the helmet and far beyond the field. Before we dive in, kindly like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I would like us to start from the very beginning of his story so we can all get to appreciate the journey better. On July 22, 1995, in Alton, Illinois, Ezekiel Elijah Elliott was born into a family where speed, power, and discipline already flowed through the bloodline. His mother, Dawn Huff, had once dominated Missouri high school athletics, becoming a state champion in 3 sports before sprinting her way onto the track team at the University of Missouri. His father, Stacy Elliott, had worn Missouri's colors as a linebacker and later built a life in athletics and leadership as CEO of Fifth Down Enterprises. Athleticism didn't just run through the family, it soared. His maternal grandfather had played basketball for Drake University, and his uncle, Sean Huff, would grow into a professional basketball player representing Finland on the world stage. Yet, Ezekiel's earliest years weren't defined solely by inherited talent, but by his parents' deep belief in education. When he was still young, the Elliots moved from Illinois to St. Louis, determined to provide their children with opportunities far beyond what their budget allowed. They poured nearly all their resources into schooling, driving older cars, skipping vacations, and placing academics above everything else. "Most of our money went to the children," his father would later say. That dedication led Ezekiel to John Burroughs School in Ladue, Missouri, an academically rigorous private school where the expectations were high, the class sizes small, and the student body filled with scholars. It was an environment built for intellectual growth, but Zeke quickly transformed it into his own athletic proving ground. At Burroughs, the young Elliott became a 3-sport force, competing in football, basketball, and track, and even dabbling in baseball. His talent wasn't loud or boastful. It simply appeared undeniable every time he stepped onto a field. By his junior year, the Friday night lights of the Burroughs football field began to glow a little brighter whenever Zeke carried the ball. He rushed for 1,802 yards and 34 touchdowns, adding more than 400 receiving yards, numbers that turned heads statewide. His senior year was even more breathtaking. Over 3,000 all-purpose yards, 50 total touchdowns, 2,155 rushing yards, and a presence so commanding that opposing defenses bent and broke beneath it. Still, even with Elliott's brilliance, Burroughs fell just short of championship glory 3 straight times. But disappointment never diminished him, it sharpened him. The losses became lessons, the lessons became fuel. Yet football was only half the story. On Missouri's sun-baked track, Zeke turned into something elemental, part speed, part grace, part thunder. In an astonishing 2.5 hours span, he won 4 state titles: the 100 meters, 200 meters, 110-meter hurdles, and 300-meter hurdles. His sprint times, 10.95 in the 100 meters, 13.77 in the hurdles, cemented him as a statewide phenomenon, earning him the title of Missouri Gatorade Track Athlete of the Year. Back home, stacks of college letters began to crowd the family dining table. Ohio State, Missouri, and countless others. His father guided him through each one, not with pressure but with understanding. He had once been the teenager facing the same life-changing decision. Through sacrifice, discipline, and an upbringing built on expectation and love, Ezekiel Elliott grew not just into an exceptional athlete, but into a young man prepared for the world that awaited him. And before the fame, before the draft, before the roaring NFL crowds, there was this: a boy shaped by the values of two determined parents, a student athlete forged through humility and ambition, a runner whose origins were equal parts gift and grit. This is where the story of Ezekiel Elliott truly begins. The moment the Dallas Cowboys called his name during the 2016 NFL Draft, Ezekiel Elliott felt the world tilt in his direction. He rose from his seat in the draft green room, calm, confident, and unmistakably ready, and stepped into a spotlight that had been waiting for him. The Cowboys had chosen him 4th overall, a decision fueled by his explosive college career and his rare blend of power, balance, and vision. It was a pick that signaled more than potential. It signaled belief. Elliott didn't take long to justify that belief. When he arrived in Dallas, he carried himself like a veteran from the first snap. The ball found his hands early and often, and each carry affirmed what coaches already suspected. This wasn't just a talented young running back. This was a force. His rookie season became the stuff of highlight reels and record books. His legs seemed carved from resolve itself as he slashed through defenders, piling up 1,631 rushing yards, the highest total in the NFL that year, along with 15 rushing touchdowns that came with a kind of effortless brutality. The league took notice quickly, awarding him first-team All-Pro and a Pro Bowl selection, and crowning him the PFWA Rookie of the Year, a rare trifecta for a player barely months into his career. In the seasons that followed, Elliott became the beating heart of the Dallas offense. His runs were not just effective, they were emotionally charged, the kind of plays that lifted stadiums and jolted sidelines. Even in 2017, when he was limited to 10 games, he still surged for 983 yards, running with the same punishing intent that defined his rookie campaign. By 2018, he was back to full strength, reclaiming his place atop the NFL rushing hierarchy with 1,434 yards, and again proving indispensable as a receiver out of the backfield. His performance earned him another Pro Bowl appearance and second-team All-Pro honors, reaffirming his place among the league's elite running backs. Elliott carried that momentum into 2019, a season that showcased his evolution from rising star to complete, multi-dimensional weapon. He powered his way to 1,357 rushing yards and added 12 touchdowns, performing with a maturity that only experience grants. Every time he touched the ball, fans leaned forward, waiting for him to break into the open field or break a defender's will. But the NFL is a league of adjustments, and between 2020 and 2022, Elliott faced new challenges: shifting offensive schemes, rising defensive talent, and the physical wear of years spent carrying a franchise's hopes. Still, he delivered. He fought for 979 yards in 2020, pushed his way back to the 1,000-yard mark in 2021, and in 2022, even as his yardage dipped, he remained one of the league's top scorers with 12 rushing touchdowns. Through every hit, every comeback, and every hard-earned yard, he embodied resilience. When 2023 arrived, Elliott embraced a new chapter with the New England Patriots, trading the star-spangled identity of Dallas for the disciplined austerity of Foxborough. Here, he showcased his adaptability as he produced 642 rushing yards and 313 receiving yards, steadying an evolving offense with the veteran poise of a player who had seen and conquered nearly everything the league could offer. In 2024, Elliott briefly returned to Dallas before transitioning to the Los Angeles Chargers as part of their off-season and practice squad unit, signaling a shift from headline centerpiece to seasoned mentor. Yet, by this point, his legacy required no further embellishment. He had amassed over 9,130 rushing yards, delivered 74 rushing touchdowns, contributed 14 receiving touchdowns, earned 3 Pro Bowl selections, and led the league in rushing twice. He had become one of the most accomplished running backs of his era, an athlete who shaped games, seasons, and memories with equal force. Today, when the stadium lights dim and the echoes of cheering crowds fade into the rafters, what remains is the story of a runner who refused to be anything less than extraordinary. Elliott's professional journey is marked by power, persistence, and the unmistakable sense that whenever he took the handoff, anything could happen. Let's get into his finances. After signing his rookie contract, worth nearly $25 million and highlighted by a staggering $16.3 million signing bonus, Elliott entered the league not just with expectations, but with wealth most rookies only dream about. Years later, that moment would be remembered as the spark that ignited a fortune. As the seasons unfolded, his value grew with every violent cut, every broken tackle, every triumphant sprint into the end zone. In 2019, after leading the league in rushing and becoming the engine of the Dallas offense, he earned a contract extension that would reshape his financial destiny, a 6-year, $90 million deal that made him one of the highest-paid running backs in NFL history. It was the kind of contract that cements a player not just as a star, but as a financial force. And so the numbers rose. His net worth climbed steadily as seasons passed, fueled not only by base salaries, but by roster bonuses, performance incentives, and the kind of marketability that only a charismatic, headline-generating athlete could command. Major brands lined up to attach their logos to his legacy: Nike, Old Spice, BioSteel, Panini trading cards. Each partnership added another layer to the empire he was quietly, steadily building. Even as he changed teams, spending time with the New England Patriots before joining the Chargers practice squad, his financial story remained resilient. By late 2025, estimates varied, some placing his net worth at $30 million, others at $35 million, and still others at figures even higher, depending on whether they accounted for assets, investments, and long-term earnings. Behind the headlines and the highlight reels, Elliott was doing far more than collecting paychecks. He was constructing stability. He invested in companies like Encore Golf, shaping a portfolio that extended beyond the stadium lights. He diversified his earnings through business ventures and brand partnerships that ensured his wealth wouldn't be tied solely to the blunt force of his legs. Compared to many players at his position, athletes whose careers can flame out quickly under the physical toll, Elliott defied the odds. His longevity allowed him to amass over $76 million in salary and signing bonuses alone, according to financial analyses from later seasons, a number that reflects both his durability and his value across multiple franchises. And so, as Elliott's journey continues, his wealth remains not just a figure on paper, but a testament to a career carved with ambition and anchored by persistence. Ezekiel Elliott has earned his place not only among football's greats, but among its financial success stories. Now to the focus of today's video, his lavish Texas ranch. When Ezekiel Elliott bursts through defensive lines on Sundays, the world sees power, precision, and raw athletic brilliance. But when the pads come off and the stadium roar fades into memory, Elliott retreats to a sanctuary that reveals another side of him, a world not made of turf and chalk, but of stone, oak, and quiet luxury. That sanctuary stands in Frisco, Texas, a growing haven for athletes seeking both comfort and anonymity. Tucked in an upscale neighborhood just under 40 minutes from AT&T Stadium, Elliott's French Chateau-inspired mansion rises from manicured grounds like a modern castle, a symbol of success earned yard by yard. Purchased in 2018, the property reflects not ostentation, but intention. For Elliott, this home isn't a trophy, it's an oasis. Step inside, and the world changes. The estate spans over 7,518 square feet, filled with soft light and rich textures that whisper luxury rather than shout it. Vaulted ceilings tower overhead, wood beams drawing the eye along a warm, natural palette. The living spaces flow effortlessly, each room designed with the kind of thoughtfulness only a player who spends half his life in motion could appreciate. The kitchen is a masterpiece of history and craftsmanship. 200-year-old French oak cabinetry, polished granite, and the kind of chef-grade layout fit for both quiet mornings and raucous celebrations after big wins. It's rustic elegance on a grand scale, a space where stories simmer as easily as meals. Nearby, the home theater waits, a darkened sanctuary of plush seating and a massive projection screen. It is here that Elliott unwinds, studying film, watching movies, or hosting friends in a space built for deep comfort. A private bar and game room extend the entertainment wing, filled with laughter, music, and the rhythmic crack of pool balls well into the night. When the day finally wears thin, Elliott retreats to his primary suite, a room shaped by serenity. Beneath soaring, beamed ceilings and soft lighting, the suite opens into a spa-like bathroom where a marble soaking tub commands the center, almost sculptural, definitely indulgent. The bathroom stretches nearly as large as the bedroom itself, lined with dual vanities and a glass walk-in shower that feels like stepping into a personal retreat. Outside, the estate transforms into a private resort. A saltwater pool and spa shimmer beneath Texas sunsets, bordered by stone decks perfect for lounging, laughing, or escaping the heat after a grueling week. A stone fireplace and expansive veranda overlook landscaped gardens, creating an atmosphere where tranquility settles like evening light across the water's surface. It's no wonder Elliott hosts friends here. Nights stretch long in spaces that feel carved for celebration. Beyond its beauty, this mansion reflects Elliott's personality. Powerful, elegant, but grounded. It also reveals something deeper, his values. With all his success, Elliott made one of his earliest major purchases, not for himself, but for his parents, buying them a home in the St. Louis area as a gesture of gratitude. His Frisco mansion, while grand, is not excessive. It is a statement not of ego, but of identity. A home, not a showpiece. Even as his football path has taken turns, from the Cowboys to the Patriots and back before a move to the Chargers, the Frisco mansion remains a chapter of stability in the ever-shifting narrative of an NFL career. In 2024, after returning briefly to Dallas, Elliott reaffirmed his connection to Frisco with another purchase, a $2.5 million estate, again blending comfort with functionality, again carved into 7,518 square feet of refined living. Though his team changed, his Texas home remained an anchor. Next up is his car collection. His garage is a kingdom of chrome and thunder, each machine telling a story, each price tag marking another milestone in a life built on speed, strength, and success. The first to catch your eye is the Chevrolet Corvette Z06, gleaming beneath the soft garage lights like a coiled predator. White body, black accents, supercharged 6.2-liter V8 at its heart, this is Elliott's self-reward, a trophy earned on the battlefield of the NFL. Its $80,500 price tag speaks to power packaged with American precision, and with 650 horsepower and a 3-second 0 to 60, it's no surprise Elliott's often seen with this beast, sometimes behind the wheel, sometimes posing proudly beside it. Parked nearby is its bigger, angrier cousin, the 2021 Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat, a hulking SUV that shares Elliott's own mix of brutality and agility. With 710 horsepower under the hood and acceleration that belies its size, this machine carries a price of $80,995, a figure that seems almost modest for an SUV capable of roaring from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Elliott picked it up in 2021, drawn to its presence, massive, menacing, and impossible to ignore. In contrast to these shining performance machines sits a car that carries a different kind of memory, a black GMC Yukon. Its price isn't documented, but its value to Elliott is undeniable, though not for glamorous reasons. This Yukon was part of a mishap during his time with the Cowboys, when a rushed morning led to a collision that caused $33,000 in damage to a BMW 7 Series and resulted in a lawsuit. It is a reminder that even stars have off days, and even luxury vehicles bear scars of real life. Then the garage shifts from muscle to science fiction. Elliott's BMW i8 sits like a spacecraft on standby. Sleek lines, scissor doors, and hybrid engineering come together in a car valued at around $150,000 on the market at its peak, a blend of sustainability and style. Its 369 horsepower doesn't roar, it whispers. And sometimes, a whisper is all that's needed to make people turn their heads. And then there is the monster, the Lamborghini Urus. Elliott's Urus stands tall as a $200,000-plus symbol of unapologetic luxury and explosive performance. Its 641 horsepower V8 slingshots the SUV to 190 miles per hour, all while wrapped in unmistakable Lamborghini design. For Elliott, the Urus isn't just a car, it's a declaration. A supercar with room for passengers, speed that startles, and a price tag that only the elite can justify. And the collection grows louder still. The 2019 Chevrolet Camaro SS, a brawny American muscle car valued at around $42,000, offers a different kind of thrill. Its 455 horsepower V8 delivers raw energy, a reminder that not every machine needs supercar finesse. Sometimes, brute force is its own kind of beauty. Nearby sits a heavyweight among SUVs, the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, priced at $88,690, a deceptively refined monster hiding a supercharged 6.2-liter V8, cranking out 707 horsepower. It's a Jeep dressed in civility but built for war. Perfect for an athlete who thrives in chaos and control all at once. Luxury takes a classic shape in Elliott's Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, valued around $131,750, a vehicle synonymous with celebrity status. Boxy, bold, immovable. It's the kind of machine that announces its arrival long before you see it. And next to it rests the Cadillac Escalade, a $76,295 rolling mansion of chrome, leather, and American swagger. Both SUVs speak to comfort, presence, and prestige, qualities Elliott wears naturally. But tucked away among these giants is something simpler, quieter, and perhaps more meaningful. His Ford F-150, the first car he ever owned. Its value isn't captured in dollars, it's captured in memory. It reminds us that every journey, even one ending in multi-million-dollar contracts and luxury supercars, begins with something humble. Taken together, Ezekiel Elliott's car collection is more than a display of wealth. It's a portrait of a man in motion. Every engine rev, every sleek silhouette, every price tag tells us this: Elliott is a passionate collector of the slickest rides. I would be ending this video with a bit of his personal life. Elliott is in a relationship with Hallie Woodard. Their relationship, which began around 2019, unfolded quietly. Hallie shares an unexpectedly tender connection not just with Elliott, but with his mother. In 2020, Dawn publicly celebrated Hallie's graduation from nursing school, a small yet powerful glimpse into the closeness that defines their blended lives. She keeps her personal world private, but her support for Elliott has always been unmistakable. She's been seen cheering him on from the stands, most notably during the Cowboys vs. 49ers playoff showdown in 2022, where cameras caught her energy and devotion. Though he has no children and remains unmarried, Elliott's personal life is far from empty. His world is anchored by commitment to the people who cheer for him, to the woman who stands beside him, and to the values etched into him long before he ever donned a Cowboys jersey. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also drop your comments below. Stay inspired and see you in the next video.